do things because they inspire me, and if it doesn't inspire me, I don't do it. Usually, if you're inspired by something, you believe in something, other people will follow that.
Real marketing's all fine, but marketing without reality, it doesn't work. You know, people see through all that.
I never say like, I'm going to do this because I'm going to make a bunch of money.
You're listening to the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, featuring real business owners telling real stories about their real business experiences. Here are your hosts, John Chiappetta and Eric Jorn.
Welcome to another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Business. Today's guest, we have Dimitri Kallianis from the Shanty. Dimitri, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
Obviously, I've been to your restaurant. The place is huge. It's awesome. You got a great interior. The food's good. I'm sure you have a good story of how you got yourself started.
Yep. So grew up in the restaurant business with my dad. Seafood barbecue, peeling shrimp, peeling potatoes, getting yelled at, all that good Greek upbringing stuff. And with my brother, my sister, and my cousins, and my aunt. Went to work through there all through high school. Went to University of Wisconsin for business marketing minor and an art major. So I actually have a major in art. Went to Milwaukee, graduated from there, worked at places downtown Milwaukee, and learned a lot. Learned a lot about marketing through my art classes, probably more than my business classes, was kind of unique. Father called me one day. I was in my dorm room, said this place that was pretty, worn out, called the Shanty is for sale. And, if you were interested in buying it, I was at a bank. I was working at U.S. Bank at the time. I had some job offers and some things I was going to look at in New York. And I said, I'll go check it out. So I went down there, and the place was losing money, and it was a little, shanty-ish little place. And for whatever reason, I wanted to do it with my dad. So he had another restaurant. My brother was still in college. My sister was in college also. I started running the Shanty, and I think we, turned it around pretty quick within about 6 months, changed the menus, the staff, and got rolling. So got real busy. We did an expansion in 2010, moved Captain Porky's, our other business, on the corner. 2018, quadrupled the footprint of the building.
Wow.
Events, bar, private events, been on TV, Food Network a bunch of times, and a bunch of things we're very fortunate about. Just a lot of hard work. Then COVID hit. That was pretty wild. Got a huge 6,000 square foot tent in the parking lot, ran an entire restaurant outside, did all these retail sales, started selling off everything we could. We did, well with that, I guess, to survive. Then right at the end of shutdowns, purchased the Duck Inn down the hill, little tavern. And we just opened our newest restaurant, Wadsworth Inn, about 8 weeks ago, just next to the Shanty. So now there's 4 businesses there, and my dad, my brother, my sister, me, 250 employees, and great team, and we're just very fortunate.
Wow, did you say 250 employees?
Yeah, something like that. Everyone, yeah. And they're fantastic.
How is that? How is managing 250 employees? I thought we had a lot, so.
We have a 13-member management team.
Okay.
And they're all very talented and, very skilled. And the way that when you go from a small business to a big business is it was a learning curve, Totally. Captain Porky's is a carry-out restaurant, so it's not that many employees. We grew up like that. And you just have to learn. You got to go through it. The Shanty was bigger than Porky's, and the expansion was a little bigger. Now this one is a very wide-spanning, dynamic concept. So the way that I did it was basically I took all the jobs, all the duties, and sectioned them out into management. And then my job is a supporter. So I support all the management.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there, behind the scenes, in the scenes, in the kitchen, wherever I need to be. And I've never asked anyone to do something that I'm not willing to do or that I've already done myself. So that's kind of the example that I try to set. And from there, it trickles down to everyone that's very important.
Cool. So you got 13 people on your management team. Talk to me about what's the structure of this. Do each of them provide, finance, marketing?
So I think that when I started building the restaurant with my parents, and my brother, my sister, my dad, my brother, my sister work next door at Captain Porky's, which is a different building. So I'm pretty much by myself. My mom is behind the scenes with accounting, and we have an amazing accountant too, and a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of like that kind of structure. My goal is that I always want to hire someone that knows something that I don't know. So I think the problem that I've seen or challenges that I've seen with restaurants is that there's kind of like, I don't want to say jealousy, but like someone doesn't want to hire someone that's better than them because it makes them look bad. For me, I want to hire everybody that's better than me, and then I can help them with what I'm good at. So when we built the team, everyone has to bring something to the table. And we all have different personalities, we're all different ages, we all have different life experiences. But when you put all those pieces together, which is what I think I'm talented at, is kind of, how you have to be a coach, but you also have to be supportive. You also have to learn though at the same time.
Yep.
So I've learned a lot. I think they've learned a lot, and together it makes a really successful business.
Wow. I feel like we've heard that a little bit before, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's drives a lot of success. Like you said, you take away the point where you need to be the end all and be all of knowledge and let your employees bring something to the table. I think that allows them to exude their passion. They can feel part of the team. I think when they're allowed to make some decisions.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome.
And it creates an energy too. Like so, like I said, I feel like I always have to be creating something. If it was in college, it was an art project. If it's the expansions or a menu or how something's perceived, whatever it is. So when you get a group of people together that are creating something together towards the same goal, there's an energy to that just sparks it, and it keeps going, and then it kind of trickles down to everybody, and everyone wants to get involved with it. So I'm really proud of everybody. They're very fortunate.
Yeah, I was going to say, quadrupling your size. Yeah, because I remember walking in one time, and I couldn't believe the whole back area. It's just an enormous bar area. Then you got a bunch of tables. That brings it stress in itself as far as managing the amount of more people in your restaurant then too. You got your kitchen staff and all that kind of stuff. How did you guys kind of manage that type of growth?
So I think when I look at business, no matter where, we have Duck Inn and Wadsworth Inn and Captain Porky's, the Shanty, our olive oil company, skincare company. All of them are very different businesses. And I like the challenge of that. But you really, I think any kind of success comes with the process of learning it. So to answer your question, how did we go from there to there? We were open during the expansion, so we were continuing to run. We didn't open all the rooms at one time. Everything is like long wave. It's you need to step, or you get this step done, you get this next step done. The thing is with that, it's difficult on the financial end because you have to hire a lot of people and pay a lot of people to learn the system while the system's not at full capacity. So that's where I think a lot of businesses, one, are either not willing to do it or not capable of doing it, and that's where the challenge where people give up or they stop. So you just got to be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
Well, yeah, you're rolling dice a little bit. You're expecting that once that learning curve is straightened out and you're running at full capacity, obviously, then you're a lot of companies I know when they're doing that, they start. They get to a point and these people are trained. You think you got that team. Sometimes you get that turnover, and then you kind of feel like you're replacing that. Did you guys run into any of that, especially during the COVID? I mean,
so we're a very unique situation where we have past employees that like continue to come back and work, and like it's a big like family. It's like a fraternity sorority thing. It's kind of it has that kind of aura about it. I don't know. But for me, about 8 years ago is when I really started focusing on a system. And everyone I think people like structure. That's one thing. it's hard to build the structure, but I focus a lot of my energy on if this person is not here today and someone else has to step in, is the system strong enough to train someone quickly? But what happened is that the system got really good, and the staff that was there was like, hey, this is great, and they stay.
Yeah.
So it's like the organization, or it's not stressful on the staff when someone's coming into a system they have, because it doesn't put the pressure on the staff that's already there. So I think we don't have a lot of turnover. We've been very lucky. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, you most people don't think of restaurants with that type of structure in it. You know, I think, when I was growing up, most of the people that I knew that were servers or worked at restaurants was using that as a stepping stone to get through college or whatever. Whereas what you're kind of talking to me is you're allowing people to have a career in the restaurant.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
We have our office manager's been there for 35 years. One of our servers, Vicky Carney, is amazing. Has been there 39 years.
Wow.
A majority of the core staff I hired when I started. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of staff that are new, but it's because we're growing, so you have to continue to.
Yeah, with the additional restaurants that you have. Yeah, you actually, there is a lot more, obviously, to just your restaurant. I walk in there, you're selling your olive oil. You got some wine? Got some wine,
We
right?
do retail stuff. So, the barrel wines, from Greece,
Yeah, so that adds to the atmosphere and to the overall feel of your restaurants and stuff like that as
It
well.
does. Yeah, we're in the olive oil business. We sell retail and food service, Cisco and U.S. Performance and KeHE and a lot of different places. So the olive oil is really started as a passion project, which it still is. And my father was born in Sparta, Greece. We're from Mount Thaitos, which is a historic district of Sparta. Some of the best olive oil in the world is produced there. Not just because we're saying that, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just some of the best olive oil in the world is from Laconia, and other products too. And 2009, went to Greece and cut all the leases and started designing all. That's where my art background came in. Designed all the bottles with the team there, and we're in our almost 14 years now.
Yeah.
It's going really well. We launching a skincare company called Nota, named after my grandmother. That's 100% natural olive oil skincare line.
Okay.
13 products with that. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun though. I mean, that's a pretty interesting dynamic. You don't think of somebody who owns a restaurant is going to have, a bar of soap.
Sure,
Sure,
yeah.
You don't really think of that. It's kind of put together, but in a way, it kind of makes sense in a way. Because I'm thinking in my head, all natural. That adds to
Those
things that you do.
The soaps too, like the names and the ingredients too. It's like how you make food.
Yeah.
Same thing as making a dish.
That's a good point. So you have a restaurant location. You retail these products there. You have a website. Retailing on the website. Are you selling through any other sources, distributors?
Yeah, we're the olive oil. I believe we have about 13 distributors. And then the skincare now we're structuring for, nationwide distribution on that. But you can go to notaskincare.com, lonelyolive.com, shantyRestaurant.com, all that stuff too. Each business has its own sites.
Are you going to retail in just general stores? Do you have a strategy? I know that's a really tough market, right? Anytime you're in a retail environment, it's expensive to get on shelves and distribution.
Yeah. So like locally, we're in like all the Jewels, all the Mariano's, all the Sunset Foods, Pete's Fresh Markets, Woodman's. We're in big stores.
Yep.
The skincare, it's such a premium product. So we're looking at salons, spas. We're already in them now, but really growing that business.
Okay.
And looking at personal care distribution that goes in the back of the house, which is, if you're going to a salon and they're doing services, so it's like bulk packaging of it, and then retail. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there. We feel confident with the products and the formulas, and we'll get to where we're going. It's going to be a long road, but that's part of the process.
Well, so how did you get into the skincare? I mean, the olive oil started as a passion. How did you think?
So
hey, let's do some skincare because we don't have enough to do with the restaurants.
I was in Greece. It's actually a great story. I was in Greece, and it was during the olive oil harvest time. And there were an Albanian family that were coming down into Sparta helping pick all the olives. And they started taking the second pressing of oil. first pressing was going into our olive oil bottles, and they were taking that. So they drove down the mountain, and we're in Mount Athos in Spartan Hills, and we're driving down, and I see this little warehouse. So I go in there, and I speak Greek pretty well. And they were from Albania. They spoke Greek also. I said, "What are you guys doing?" And they said, "Oh, we're making soap." I'm like, "Really?" This is about 2009. And I go, "Really?" I go, "What? How do you do that?" And they weren't making anything fancy. They were making these like big, huge blocks, and it didn't smell very good. And I go, "What do you do with it?" He goes, "We take a saw, we chop it up, we throw it in a bag, and then we go back to our village for the season. That's our soap. And then we come back." So I said, "If you teach me how to make soap right now, I'll give you olive oil free the rest of your life for your whole family." Like, "Oh, come on, you don't have to do that." I'm like, "No, I'm serious." I was interested in it.
Yeah.
It was just 3 ingredients. It wasn't a big deal. So after that was done, we flew back home, and in my mind, I was like back to my dad. So my dad's a farmer also and a restaurateur. And he used to, he has animals. So he has manure, and then the manure goes into the garden, and the garden makes tomatoes, and the tomatoes, it's like the whole circle of that life, right?
Yep.
No waste, back to the kitchen, You got scrap pieces of this, it goes into the soup, it goes into that. There's no waste, no waste. So I grew up around that. That was my farming, the business I ever did. So I'm flying back home, and I'm thinking, man, this skincare thing is going to be, this could be, as prominent as this olive oil company that I want to do. So it always stuck with me. I got home, started doing all my research, and then we went into South Africa, Northern Africa, started getting aloe vera plants, which is like a very high population there. So I started bringing vials of aloe vera back to the United States. My first bars we made were Nutta olive oil after my grandmother, olive oil soaps, aloe vera, and olive oil. Smell wasn't great, but the product was awesome. Started giving them out to everybody, helping their psoriasis, helping this, eczema. I'm like, man, this is pretty crazy. We're just selling them at the restaurant for $4, This guy comes in, sees it, and he goes, "Hey, where'd you get these soaps at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm making them up." I was like just screwing around, He goes, "Oh, we want to take you to Dubai, and we're going to a medical clinic there. We think you got something here." So flew to Dubai, went there for a week. I was with a company called Hydrox. I think they recently sold. Really nice guys. And I learned a lot there. So I came back with it, formulated it. Helena is an esthetician that works with us, who's amazing, helped with formulas. So we're producing 5 skincare products and then 8 bar soaps.
Wow.
And you could eat the products. I mean, they're that natural. They're amazing. The smell is amazing because it's real. And the olive oil does amazing things for your skin. So it's this whole process of from the olive to oil to bar soap back to face oil, the entire process of a non-GMO organic olive coming from the Hodio, from my father's village.
Wow.
So really passionate. It's awesome. I'm very excited about it.
Well, I always think the less ingredients, the better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start reading the back of some of what's in there, there's a lot of stuff in soaps and stuff like that you don't even realize that what it does to your body in the long run. I'm getting older now, so I got to be. Yeah. I got to start really looking at that
you guys
stuff.
Up. It's funny. Like it's obviously probably geared a little towards more women.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys will call me like, "Hey, dude, look, I'm getting weird, dude. But I need like 10 bars of soap." Like, it's the difference.
It does make a difference.
Interesting.
Because I mean, I've used your soap, and I know that my wife gets it and stuff like that. So, I mean, I typically just ooze olive oil out of my skin now, but but it's not. I mean, honestly, it does smell. You wouldn't think it would be a good bar soap. You just wouldn't, like, you're thinking olive oil. What are you talking about?
When you're putting like fresh orange peel, like real orange peels in there, lavender and oatmeal for, there's a lot of cool stuff in it. And with the olive oil, like, the recipe, our recipe is simple. It's 1 ingredient, it's olive oil. That's it. There's no other whatever there is, mixed oils and lemons and whatever it is.
Yeah.
But oil, you want the purity of what it is. So we're excited.
Interesting. So we have 4 restaurants, soap, and olive oil distribution, or beauty. We'll call it beauty products.
3 family restaurants and 1. We're all together. Tavern and then skincare and olive oil.
The Tavern's the most recent one that you bought, right?
A little bit before the one next door, we remodeled that one. Yeah, the Duck Inn's great. So that's got a great story too. It's a little it's about to fall over. It's a complete dive bar, and it's amazing though. The lady who built the Duck Inn in 1934 built where the Shanty building is in 1937. And it was
Oh, that's cool.
Blanche Ash came from Chicago with their little brother after Prohibition. It's called the Duck Inn because you'd shoot a duck in the woods behind there and bring it in.
Right, and they cook it up for you.
Cooked it up
that's
for
cool.
you. Her business got booming in 1937. Builds up Blanche's Hamburgers, and then where Captain Porky's was her service station. There's a lot of history, and I was very good friends with the owner too. So it's worked out really well. We want to keep the charm of that place, you know.
So obviously people aren't bringing their ducks in there.
They should be. I think we're actually going to do a duck dinner coming up.
Okay.
So, old school. We're going to like roast some ducks outside, picnic tables, you know. So obviously the
That's
Shanty's
cool.
a little, you know, a little more fancier, I guess, you know, And then Wadsworth Inn has a very, you know, 32-ounce bone-in ribeyes, lobster rolls, lobster tails, crab legs, a little fancier. So the Duck is just a place where, you know, you just chill.
Yeah, I'm always down for some duck. I'm not gonna lie.
You know me, right? If duck's on the menu, that's probably what I'm going to order. So
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I kind of got myself into where we're just eating as clean as meat as possible. So, like, not buying even, like, trying to stay away from beef at the store, you know, like, not going to the Jewel and buying meat,
sure.
that kind of thing. But, yeah, duck's always definitely
great.
a good, it's a great meal. Yeah, I mean, you got so many things going on. I mean, obviously, yeah, you got 250 employees and stuff like that. But, you know, what does an average day look like for you?
So my kids go to school about a half hour away. So wake up, you know, get the kids ready, drive them to school, come back to work, see how work's going, go back, pick them up, come back. They're in ice skating and taekwondo, and their moms, you know, doing a lot of stuff with them too. So it's just it's a lot. Everything's kind of like my kids and my businesses right now. You know, we got they're very energetic kids. My daughter's turning 9 on Monday.
Oh,
and my
happy
little
birthday.
guy's thank you. My little guy's 7. So they're great little kids, man. It's awesome to see them growing up and supporting them, and that's actually where I get a lot of my energy. You know, that drive from there, from my staff, my the patrons. It's I don't know, I don't feel stressed at all. You know, I feel I got a lot going on, but I feel control. It's in control.
Well, like you grew up in a restaurant with your family. Would you envision them? I know they're young, but would you envision them kind of doing the same thing? I mean, they have a lot to learn there. Think about it. Even if they decided not to be at the restaurant.
Oh, my kids?
Yeah, there's still a lot to learn there.
I mean, my thing is this. Whatever they want to do, I'm going to support them. That's one thing. I don't want to like gear them one way or the other. It's a tough business. It's a hard business. They don't have to. I don't think they would ever have to do what we had to do to get to where we're at. You know, but it depends what they're passionate about. You know, but I'm not like one thing that's not going to happen is they're going to work. Like I'm not someone's going to like hand over the reins to somebody or that's not going to work. And if they do work, they're going to start washing dishes just like I did, and bussing tables, running food, and starting from the bottom. You know, and I think that if I didn't do that when I started at the restaurant or with my dad, there's no way I think I'd be in the position I'm in right now. And people don't respect it. You know, it's hard to tell someone something to do when they know that you have no idea what that is, you know, in any business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I just think that that's very important, and you gotta get your wings, you know. So if they do want to go that route, I'll support them with it, and you know, but they're gonna have to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
sounds like one of the things that has allowed you to become successful is finding those people and just letting them take care of it and run it, handle it. Like, let me go do my thing. I'm going to go, open these new ventures, get another restaurant.
I really don't do that though.
Okay.
Yeah, I communicate every day with every manager. So
Yep.
I don't, there's some departments I do that with, but I'm pretty my thumb is on the pulse pretty well. Like I don't want to micromanage.
Yep.
But I do, they know that I need to know.
Totally.
My hands are in everything. I want it to be that way. I do let them do their job as they should, and they do a good job at it. But it's not something that I allow something or someone does it and then I just don't think about it for a year.
Yeah.
I'm constantly thinking about it and how to make that department, that area better, how to improve that area. That's really what my job is now, is kind of looking at everything. Cost, unfortunately, is what I do all day long now.
Yeah.
Just like with all these pricing and just
I mean,
inflation.
have you
it's
put in different systems to allow you to look at that pricing? I mean, you have multiple locations, so I don't know. I don't know if they're so diverse that you can't buy in bulk for
Yeah.
each location, or are you able to do some things that you could
So,
distribute throughout? But I
yes.
mean, there's some things you could do there. But
So we're also in the liquor business, our family. So both sides of my family are in the liquor business. So I kind of grew up as around that so much, like bulk buying and structuring, and just like I probably don't even know how much it's been around me, but it's just kind of where my environment was. So we definitely max out on all that. We have all of our rebates, and we do a good job with that. I'm not very tech savvy. There's like 4 offices on the property, and I don't think I've ever sat in one of them ever. This is my office now. I'm talking to you
Yeah.
guys. Like I can't sit down that long. Like even doing this right now, it's a lot for me.
We're gonna need to take a
no,
movement break.
it's fine. But it's like paperwork is a lot to me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more like hands-on, going, seeing, talking to the customer. I'm very visual. I want to see where those problems are. If there is a problem, I want to go in and I want to try to help fix it. But working with that person, I think, is the big thing. But to like the idea of just like let everyone do what I'm not at that stage yet.
Yeah.
I probably could be, but I'm not built like that.
No, I mean, well, and that's kind of how a leadership structure should work, right? You have your team. They're handling the day to day, but they're report. At the end of the day, everything's still going to report up into you. So, to me, it sounds like you got a good structure.
No, we
going.
do, and we have good people who care, and they're very smart, and they're a lot like, I look at our office manager. She is unbelievable at the job that she does, and I can't do her job.
Yep.
I can't do their job, and they can't do my job. So it's like that. It's all we make each other better because we're all different, but we're all putting the effort in, which is very important.
Definitely.
yeah. So you're always putting a squeeze like on your costs. You're trying to find different ways to keep your costs down. How reluctant are you to raise your prices? I mean, everybody's got their geographic area that they got to be concerned about. You're in northeastern Illinois. It's kind of tough, but you got to do what you got to do. You got to keep your margins where you need to keep them.
So I was probably the last person to raise prices out of like all the main, the bigger restaurants in the area. I hate raising prices. That's the first thing. I do everything I possibly can not to do it. The thing for me is like, I don't care what the price is. The value has to be there.
Yep.
Like I don't mind paying $50 or $80 or $100 or $20, whatever it is. But like, what am I getting for that? Is it worth what I'm getting? That's what I think it comes down to. I think we're people with price. People know that inflation is crazy. People know that things are expensive. They go to the grocery store. It's more expensive than going to a restaurant. Everyone sees that. I think but for them is what am I getting for what I'm paying? And I think if they feel satisfied with that, and with our restaurants, the ambiance of the places, the timbers, and all that, it's like an added bonus to what I can go there. I can get this carry out and go home, or I can come here and be in a cool environment and see some local friends. So I think you got to be cautious more of that. Is what you're selling worth what you're charging? And we've done that, and it's gotten more expensive. I think everything has in the whole world, and I still think people find a value in it.
Well, and I know one thing that I've been hearing and I'm seeing is in the restaurant business, there's kind of a divide happening where the lower end of the market is going to the delivery takeout, right? People just take food and go home and consume it. On the other end, high-end restaurants are still doing pretty well and really experience-driven restaurants. And now you got this middle market of restaurants. I mean, frankly, it's going to be your major chain casual restaurants, your Chili's, Applebee's, whatever it is. They're dying off, and that sector of the restaurant business is dying off because they're not doing things like providing the ambiance, the experience in the higher end food.
It's true.
So that's just, to me, that's just a reflection of consumer preferences, right? That you're really going to have that huge split that's happening.
And I think that everything you said, I agree with 100%. I think too, it's a challenging business. A lot of things have changed after COVID. The late night business is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's out after 8, 9 o'clock now. Every town is closed. Restaurants are closing at 8 o'clock on Fridays and nights. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
but people got used to that. You know, the bars aren't going to be late night bars as much now. You see all these little taverns closing down. People go to the liquor store, they go home. Everything's now on your app, on your phone, everything is designed to be at your house now.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going to be a challenge for restaurants. It's going to be a difficult thing. You have to be good enough to draw them. We're very fortunate. We get a lot of business from Chicago, from Milwaukee, and we're a local area, but we're out there and we're pushing it. So it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of work.
Yep.
And the name of your podcast is good, and it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's a great name.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of if you're not willing to do that, I just don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, being a business owner is, there's tidal waves, man. You're riding a different wave every day. So tell us about a time, we've talked a lot about your highs, like things sound really good. Talk to us about a time when, you kind of felt like you're in the lull, and how did you get out of that?
I've been pretty fortunate. I'm a pretty positive person. I don't know. We've had a good run there,
Yep.
like it's been different levels. I don't really see any negative, to be honest with you. Like in the things I see challenges,
Yep.
but I'm also kind of crazy like that, where I like the challenge.
Totally.
So like with the Shanty, right? We did the design, everything, and the architect, who was great, Chuck Black, sat me down, our builder, and they're just like, dude, this is a lot of money.
Yep.
Like this, if you did a demographic study right now, and our builder told me this, he's a great guy, Tony Solinger. He's like, this restaurant would never happen. There's no rooftops here.
Yep.
This is not, are you sure you want to do this? I said, yeah, it'll be good. We'll get it done. The thing is, when you do something like that, you can't you got to be so crazy that you can't even think about it. It's like, if we're going to spend $2 million and make it or lose it, that's what it is. You spend $4 million, you're either going to make it or you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
So when you get into that zone, it's like, I've not allowed myself to get like that.
Yep.
Maybe I was low and I didn't realize it, but you just got to it's kind of crazy. It's got to do it. And it's worked out. Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, that's a different perspective, right?
Yep.
You essentially kind of took the leap of faith.
Yeah.
As one would say. So,
Yeah.
and maybe that's something for listeners to keep in mind, right? When you want to make big progress, sometimes you have to make that leap of faith, right? You can't be assured success, and your passion and your positivity is probably what drove you to say, hey, we're going to gamble on absorbing this huge cost, and I think it's going to take us to the next level.
And it's also like, for me, it's like the fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I could go 5 days without 2 hours of sleep. I'm just running around. I feel fine. And then when I'm supposed to be passed out, tired, and I see a slight chance of something not going right,
Yeah.
it gives me energy to I think I don't want to fail.
Yeah.
I just don't want to fail is what it is, And maybe as I get older, maybe that'll go away, And I don't know. I've been doing it for a long time. I guess I'm 40, but I still got that drive in me, I don't want to fail.
And I'm not sure. Maybe it's as much of the fear of failure as it is your desire to chase success. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people get hung up on, there's a saying out there, right? People, the fear of loss significantly outweighs the opportunity of gain for most people. Mm-hmm. So that's why oftentimes, they don't become entrepreneurs, and they don't do things like a $2 million or whatever it costs you per model. Because they're, in their head, if I lose this, then that's the worst thing that can happen. And they will oftentimes forego that opportunity because of that.
The problem that's true, but the problem with me is that people that know me very well and deal with me,
Yeah.
I really don't care about money.
Yeah.
I don't do things for money. I do things because they inspire me. And if it doesn't inspire me, I don't do it. Usually, if you're inspired by something, you believe in something, other people will follow that,
Yep.
which usually results in financial, gain.
Totally.
But I've never done, and my dad's the same way, my brother and sister, I think our whole family, none of us, I never say I'm going to do this because I'm going to make a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Never do that.
Yep.
I say I'm going to do this because I think it's cool. I like it. I'm passionate. I want to learn about it. I want to share this experience with other people. And then if it results in money, great. But you have to have the people are really smart, you know, and if they see, you can't fool people, in my opinion.
Yep.
If they see that you're in it for you and for gain, they're not going to support it. If they see that, hey, this guy or these people, I look at Wadsworth Inn, our newest restaurants. I think the menu's awesome. Got a small team. It's great. You know, it's kind of like the underdog with the Shanty a little bit. It's right next to it. You know, it's not in the best location. It's next to location. It's hard to get into. It's all these challenges, right? And I think the menu is great. And I think the staff is awesome. I like that struggle.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that. Like nothing's lasted a long time there. I'm going to last a long time there. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to put the best food that's ever been out of the building. I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But the thing is, and I might fail. You know, it might fail. But I will do everything I possibly can for it not to fail. But what's happening now is that the community is seeing that. They're like, whoa, dude, this is cool. This is, it's something different. You can't fool people with that.
No.
It's got to be real. Marketing's all fine, but marketing without reality, it doesn't work. You know, people see through all that.
100%.
It's interesting. You kind of touched on this. You thought the menu was great at this place. What is driving that inspiration to develop these different locations with, obviously every place is going to be different. We talked about, having a place where you're going to throw some ducks out, man. That's a completely different feel than going to the Shanty. The Shanty's a much different feel than going and picking up some food at Porky's, So what's driving some of that inspiration to develop these different menus? And, maybe if you could even describe to the listeners some of the differential between the restaurants and some of the things behind it.
So I get bored really easy. That's the first thing. Real easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to be challenged all the time.
Yep.
I feel like I always have to be creating or producing something. Like I have to be useful. I have to produce. I have to create. I have to make opportunity for other people. Hopefully when I get older, one day that goes away. But right, I've always had that, right? So a lot of it is if I don't do something, I feel like I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what's my purpose here? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've gotten a lot better with it because I get a lot of that. I get a lot of that inspiration from my kids now. So that's a great outlet for me. I see them doing good. It's awesome. I'm excited for that. That's what I'm most excited about. As for the business side of it, the Shanty is we all kid around. It's like the center of the universe, like this whole joke with all the staff and the customers and stuff. It's like this. The Shanty is it's like an institution within itself. It's been there for so many years. It's 50th year next year. The building's 100 years old. We've done a lot in a short amount of time. A lot of expansions. The people have been the staff and the patrons have been part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
We've had offers to franchise the Shanty. We will never do that. There's one Shanty. It's in Wadsworth. It's a Wadsworth place, period. Yep. We had about 8-9 years ago, they wanted us to do one in Lake Forest, and I looked at all of it, and it was great. It was a great offer. And I said, it's not a Lake Forest, it wasn't organically grown in Lake Forest or anywhere. It's grown in Wadsworth. It needs to stay in Wadsworth. So that was that. Porky's, a little different, was in a different location for many years. Moved up there. Porky's it's a wild place, seafood, barbecue. There's Greek inspiration, New Orleans. My dad's a farmer. My brother, my sister, the desserts. My brother's knowledge of seafood. That Porky's is an animal within itself right next to that.
Yeah.
The duck is the same as it's been for, 80 years. I never want to change it. The reason that Tim O'Neill, the former owner, wanted to sell it to me was because he knows that I appreciate it and will kind of restore that history there. It's a little tavern. We sell Quonset pizzas from Waukegan, from their Fro. They're amazing pizzas, by the way. And that's it. And you go in there, you get some, the bar's about to fall over, the building's about to fall over. We fixed up the back. We put some horseshoe pits they played in the 80s. Got some dartboards out there. It's great. It's the best place. Everything's crooked. It's awesome. If you fix the duck, you destroy everything. So I think that's what the old owner was freaked out. Someone's going to come and turn into a sports bar or something. So that the duck is its own thing. I don't mess with it. I go there, I maintain it, I make sure everything's fine. The prices are good. We bulk order, like you're saying, keep all the prices nice, as cheap as we can.
Yeah.
And it's a place that, you know, a friend of mine was there a little while ago, and he's like, this place seems like it's been in like every movie in the world. You know what I mean? It's like, it has that kind of charm. You know?
Yeah.
It's a great place. And then Wadsworth Inn was many places before. We did a temporary concept called Shanty South, which was basically to fix the building, and you know, it was part the old owners' stuff and our stuff and whatever. But now Wadsworth Inn's a brand new thing. Wadsworth Inn really is just a community place. It has photos of the town. It's more like a little museum-ish type thing. Very good menu, hyper-focused on flavor. We sell $110 tomahawk ribeye on the menu. We sell $23, you know, veal dishes. We sell, you know, all different stuff. So it's a very good, very high-quality menu, different ambiance in the shanty, really brick, cool little bar, wood-clad, still inside, that kind of look. And then we have outdoor seating, big patio, and then upstairs private event room, too. So all the places do events and bar and dining service.
Yeah, I like that. I like. I think the Duck Inn sounds like what a dive bar is supposed to be, right?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
100%. You know, like you said in the movie, there's bars that are just bad bars.
Yep.
And then there's a real dive bar, and those are a real treat. In my opinion, that's my kind of place.
There's
like,
a sign in there that, you know, I'm all like want everything level and straight and everything. You know, like the restaurants, Shanty, I'm all like meticulous. And then when you go to the Duck, everything's crooked, right? So I'm there one night, and there's a sign on the wall that was crooked. And it said, "If you're drinking to forget, please pay in advance." So it was crooked, right? It's like falling off the wall. So I go to fix it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna touch this thing. I'm gonna leave it alone. Like I like worry to touch anything. I fix the bathrooms, fix them outside, but I don't want to. You know, gotta leave. It organically came that way. 100 years. You know, we gotta leave it alone.
that is the key, right? Is you got to clean up the bathroom. That's always that's the one. That's the one area, right? Because you got to have people
want clean bathrooms.
They want clean bathrooms. You talk a lot about, you know, you love the challenge, and that seems to be a driver for you and your builder. You know, that's definitely the entrepreneurial mindset, right? Is they want to solve problems, i.e. challenges. They want to build and create. Not a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have those characteristics make it. For those that are in the restaurant business, what is some bad advice that you're hearing or bad things that you hear from other restaurant owners that you think may cause them to fail and that you avoided and you said, this is what's going to make me better?
So a lot of people come to me for that. I'm going to open a restaurant. What do you think? I always say, don't do it. Okay?
Interesting.
And I don't say it because competition or I don't want them, whatever it is. If to make it in the restaurant business, in my opinion, if someone tells you you're not going to make it and then you give up, you would have never made it anyway.
Yeah.
You need to be very resilient. You have to be innovative. You have to have thick skin. And I'm the type of person, if someone tells me that I can't do it also, I want to do it, right? If I really want to do it, though.
Yep.
So I think that it's a tough business. You know, it's a hard business. And I think it's getting harder. But, you know, we've done well with it. I know a lot of good friends have done well with it. It's got to be in you.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of people, too, like, we work at, a pharmaceutical company. We love eating at restaurants. We have $2 million, want to open a restaurant, And here's the thing. If they're passionate about it and they want to be there, that's fine. I don't know any business, like successful business that, people say, oh, you just got to go pick up the money. And, I don't know how to do that. I've never seen that.
Right.
And I don't know anyone that's ever made it like that long term. Maybe it works for a year or two, but you got to be there. You got to be involved. You got to really, even if you're not physically there, you got to be there. You have to see what's going on. You got to be involved. Every business is like that, though.
Mailbox money only comes on the coattails of success, right? You have to have success first, and then you get the mailbox money, is what they say.
Maybe one day I'll be smart enough to do that. But not smart yet.
It's not quite as fun that way, though.
Great.
What do they say? I don't know. Can't remember the saying.
Some of the things that I always think is interesting, and I think it seems to run in the restaurant business more so than maybe in other businesses, or how I've kind of seen it, is it seems to be a family thing. Mm-hmm. I see more restaurants because it was in the family. Mom and dad did this, and maybe because I'm married into a Greek family, I do notice that the Greek families and Greek culture is a very close culture. But I think it also brings on another set of issues. So from your family, you got a brother, you got a sister, mom, dad.
So my brother is like the saint of the family, George.
Yeah.
He can work with anybody. Work with my dad, work with my mom, work with me, work with my sister. My mom, very similar. Very fair, great, very patient, can work with everybody. Me, my dad, and my sister are probably the closest, in that. But I don't really have to work with my dad because he's next door to me. And it's like kind of like type A, type B. Like you have two type A's in a build in any setting. So they do a great job next door, and I do what I do at the restaurant with our team, and it works out fine. We have a great dynamic. We're also very supportive of each other. My sister's great at what she does, and then my mom is kind of like the glue that kind of like takes care of everything behind the scenes. She's really running the whole show. Is really my mom. And she's quiet. She'll never talk about it, and never ask for credit or anything, but. Without my mom, we'd be all, I don't know what would happen. So she's very good. And we get along really well. And we've been lucky, and I've seen a lot of families where businesses have torn them apart or, greedy or like thing. We don't have any of that. So we have good parents, good grandparents. We're fortunate, and we get along really well.
So growing up in it, did you notice that there was things that your parents did that you're like, okay, I want to change this, I want to change that?
Yeah, I mean, my mom's a teacher, so she was a teacher for many years, and runs the businesses from the financial end in the back with our accountant and our office manager. So, my thing was I didn't think I was going to do Captain Porky's. I didn't think I was going a different route. I was in the banking thing. I was doing the art stuff. So probably that if I would have gone back to Captain Porky's and not done the Shanty, those probably would have arisen. Here's the way my dad does it. Here's the way I want to do it. Now my brother has that role. My brother does it this way. My dad does this way. My sister does that way. So they kind of have that interaction. I don't. I'm pretty removed from that. So at the Shanty, it's kind of not by myself, but pretty much by myself in that family dynamic. So I kind of just do what I feel is best, and they support it, and I support them.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me. I because everybody. I think as time progresses, and you go from a register that had the tape, to a POS system, and I saw a lot of people like or old school restaurant owners like I don't want a POS system, for various reasons we won't get into, but right. But I always saw that most of us will push back on change regardless. And I always felt, when families kind of go through this, it's always an interesting thing. But I will say that for the most part, I always see that people in the restaurant business, it is always a tight family. It really always seems to be a tight family to me.
Yeah, and like I said, our dynamic's a little different just because we're not all in the same building, But if I was working with my dad all the time, we would definitely, he has his way, I have my way, my brother's his way. So. Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to be in that situation, but maybe it would be fine. I don't know. We've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's always interesting to me.
Yeah. And my dad was a concrete contractor, and I grew up pouring concrete with him in the summertime, and I knew that wasn't for me. I ran as far away to the opposite direction as I could. It's tough, right? When you work with your family, they'll oftentimes treat you much harder.
Well, my dad was very tough on us, and I'm glad he was.
Yes.
He was fair, very loving. But he's a serious guy.
And it creates resilience, right?
Yeah.
And we learned today that resilience is one of the keys to running a restaurant.
And, and I think if I didn't have that type of background, the Shanty was a big challenge when we took that over. And I don't think we could have gone through that without that, hard-nosed type, hard knocks growing up in the restaurant with my dad and all that stuff. And when we did stuff good, he praised us. And when we were bad, he
let you know.
Told you suck, and figure it out.
Yeah,
get yourself together. I'm glad he did.
Sometimes it'd be nice to just have a conversation like that.
Well,
tell it to him straight, but can't really do that anymore, can you?
It's a little tougher too. Yeah, a little tougher too. You gotta play to the audience a little differently if it's not your son or your daughter. So
sure.
a good thing that happens when you mature as a business owner is you learn to start saying no to things. Have you learned to start saying no to things?
So that's one thing I'm terrible with.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that my managers always are on me. I'm like, you got to say no. You got to say no. You got to say no. I want people to be happy. You know, I bend over backwards for people. I appreciate them. You know, they support me. I support them, my staff, everybody. So I don't say no a lot. I probably should, to be honest. But you know, I don't know. I've never really gotten into situations that I couldn't handle or, you know, that hurt us or anything. So it's what it is.
Yeah, I feel like that for me, that's one thing that I still need to work on is being able to say no. The one place where I've gotten really good at that is when I need to protect our business model, because it's really hard for us to deliver consistently into the standards that I have expectations for if we don't say no to the right things. So I've gotten really good at that, but then anything else, I'm not disciplined with protecting my time, my energy, my efforts, and new opportunities, even if they have red flags on them.
Yeah, I think we're all.
Yeah,
Because you got that entrepreneur blood in there. You want to see things, and it's new and it's fun. You want to see how it goes. So.
Absolutely. So it's been great having you on the podcast. I think our listeners probably can garner quite a bit, learn quite a bit from you.
That's great. I think it's cool what you guys are doing. You know, it's awesome. It's very out of the box, very creative.
Yeah, it's actually obviously a lot of fun. We get to meet great people and get to talk to and all the nuggets. I mean, all the things that you said today, listeners could apply to their own business.
Yeah, and hopefully take some from it.
And I think a lot of people don't realize the life of a business owner and what it really takes to get it done. I think people think that you got a business and you get to drive a Mercedes now or something.
For sure.
It doesn't come like
Sure.
that.
I think that's the perception, and behind that perception is you get down to the reality.
Yeah.
It's the guts of the business. It's guts. You guys are doing the same thing in your business. I mean, you're here doing this podcast right now. It's part of it. You're growing, creating, inspiring people. It's all part of that. So it's fun. It's a fun journey, and hopefully I keep the inspiration up as long as I possibly can. And so far, I'm having a lot of fun.
All right, listeners, if you guys can get yourselves over to the Shanty and check out the restaurant, please do so. I don't think you're gonna be disappointed by any stretch of imagination.
Yeah.
I, for one, would like to go see the duck.
Yeah,
especially when you get some ducks in there,
you
man.
got to let us know when you're going to have that duck night.
Because that duck to me
I'll
sounds a
let
lot of fun.
you know.
Duck in a dive bar, duck and dive night. I like that. There you go.
There you go.
Duck and dive. Duck and dive.
like
All
it.
right, man.
We will put links for all your the restaurants and your other businesses in the show notes. So listeners, if you want to get some super healthy soap, olive oil, find a good place to eat, right? We're always looking for a good place for dinner, and when you're fighting, trying to figure out where to go, we got a few options available for you. So
Appreciate you having me very much.
All
This is
right.
awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us. You have been listening to the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. You can hear more real stories from real business owners about what it takes to make it in business by subscribing to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you like what you hear, leave a review and a 5-star rating. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs and Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com.